What's up, everybody? It is Thegoal60 here for Week 6 of the 2018 college football season. Last week, Michael and I went over our 7 best picks, and we're going to do the same thing this week. So, without further ado, Michael, if you'll go ahead and get us started.
Hey, Clayton, let's keep it going, bud. This is a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun last week. Some of the plays didn't work out. Texas Tech, I would think, was an upset, but it happens. You have those weeks, but overall we did pretty well. My first game this week is going to be LSU minus 2.5 against Florida. I don't see why the line is 2.5 here. I think LSU is a way better team than Florida. I just think that's a for sure bet there, and I'm going LSU minus 2.5.
I got you. So I'm also going to go in the SEC with my first play, but I'm actually taking a total. And in the game I'm going to take is Georgia and Vanderbilt over 54. This line started out a little bit lower than this, so there definitely has been some drop in the value, but I still think there's some value overall. Georgia to the over in their last 6 games is 5-1 after allowing less than 100 yards rushing. They're also 4-1 to the over their last 5 after losing against the spread, and also they're 8-3 their last 11 conference games overall. Vanderbilt is 4-1 to the over their last 5 road games, and 9-2 their last 11 conference games to the over. I have this number set a little closer to 60, and therefore I'm going to take the over in the Vanderbilt-Georgia game over 54.
I think that's a good play. I think that goes well over, actually. My second play is going to be in the SEC still. I'm going with Auburn minus 3.5 against Mississippi State. Auburn came out sluggish. They had a rain delay last week, and the final score there, I think, was 21-13. It's kind of hard to get up after a rain delay, and nobody's in the stands. So I think that was a fluke. Mississippi State got drummed by Kentucky. I think Auburn's a way better team than Kentucky. I know they've struggled on offense. I think their defense is stout for the most part, and I'm taking Auburn minus 3.5. I also like the over-under 41.5. I think Auburn puts up at least upper 20s to lower 30s in this game, so I would take the over, tease it down and take the over.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Auburn is definitely the better team here. That defense is stout. Mississippi State's had some troubles. I don't know what's up with Nick Fitzgerald. I don't know if it's his ankle still giving him problems. I don't know if it's a new injury. Whatever reason it is, he's just not the same quarterback he has been in the past. My next game is going to be in the Big Ten. Actually, last week I was heavy in the Pac-12. This week I'm heavy in the Big Ten. The first one is another over, and I don't necessarily always like going with overs, but these first 2 just kind of hit that way. And this game is Northwestern and Michigan State. Now I'm taking over 43. I have this game closer to 50, and just some trends that go along with that. Michigan State to the over is 5-1 their last 6 as a favorite. Northwestern to the over is 5-1 their last 6 as a road dog. And also Northwestern to the over is 6-0-1 their last 7 after scoring less than 20 points. So they tend to bounce back. Michigan State, I look at them. They need to get that offense going. I think this may be the week that they do so. So I'm taking the over 43 in the Northwestern Michigan State game.
I agree with you there, Clayton. I think over 43 as well, but just if you want to be safe and put it in, I like teasers, so I'm going to say teasers every week. So if you want to tease that, take the over to be safe. I think that's an awesome play. Also, I think Northwestern plus 10.5 on that. That line's extremely high to me. After last week, they played Michigan. They came out on top. It wasn't until late that Michigan came back and went to win the game 20-17, I believe it was. Yep. And I honestly think Northwestern could get this game outright, so I would take them plus 10.5 teased up or the over teased down.
I like it.
My next play is going to be in the SEC again. I'm heavy on the SEC this week, and that's Kentucky plus 5.5 against Texas A&M. I think at Texas A&M, Texas A&M looked good against Clemson. I mean, they looked all right against Alabama so far. They're the test Alabama's had to date. I think Kentucky, they rolled over South Carolina last week, which I had South Carolina, but I think Texas A&M at home minus 5.5. I'm willing to give that up, but to tease A&M to the plus side, I like that.
All right, I do like that as well. I actually had that game, Texas A&M winning the game, but just a few points. So I like taking that teaser and moving it to the other side. It definitely lines up with my projection. My game 3, I'm actually headed to the ACC, and I'm going to pick up a game that I'm a little nervous about. But last week I was nervous on a few, and they came through for me. This week I'm going with Wake Forest at home plus 18.5. I have this line at 12.5 against Clemson. I know who Clemson is. They're having a little bit of trouble. They said the quarterback is back healthy, and I think Wake Forest can score a few points. And as I've heard before, anytime a boxer has a chance to get a few hits in, they may come out and stand up a little bit better chance than you think. I think that's the case here. Wake Forest is 7-0 to the last 7 as a home dog of 10.5 or more. They're 11-0 their last 11 after holding an opponent to under 170 yards passing. Clemson is 0-4 their last 4 versus a winning team, and also 1-4 their last 5 as a favorite of 10.5 or more. And for all those reasons, I'm going Wake Forest plus 18.5.
My next game, Clayton, here, I'm going with BYU minus 2 against Utah State. BYU with the upset, of course, with Wisconsin. Last week, they struggled against Washington. I look for them to bounce back here at home. I think 2 is a little low on this game. BYU is a good team. They've proven themselves thus far this year. And I think that's a good play, BYU minus 2.
I like it. I like that a lot, actually. My next game, I'm going Minnesota and Iowa. I'm heading back to the Big Ten, and it's another over. I know I'm expecting a lot of points to be scored this week, I guess. Right now, the number's at 43. I have it a complete touchdown, or almost a complete touchdown ahead. I've got it at 49. Minnesota to the over is 8-2 their last 10 as a home dog with 3.5 to 10. They're 5-2 their last 7 to the over after a straight up loss. And they're also 5-1 their last 6 after scoring less than 20 points. So they're just like what I had with Northwestern. I'm looking for them to bounce back a little bit. They've had an off week in between to work on some things. So I think they bounce back. Iowa to the over is 4-1 their last 5 as a road favorite. And also 4-1 their last 5 conference games. So everything included there, I'm going over in Minnesota, Iowa, over 43.
I like that. There's a lot of over-unders at 43 this week. I think
Sure
those are some
is.
good plays. In that game, I had that on my list to talk about. One was I like Iowa teased down to -1. I think Iowa wins this game outright. Who won that game out of Minnesota and Maryland? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Maryland beat them pretty bad, but I think Minnesota, they had some high points in that game, and then they just kind of lost traction, had some bad turns there. And I think a bye week really helped them out a little bit. But I agree with you. I think Iowa's still a better team here.
I think Iowa, I could see Iowa beating by at least 10 points, but to the safe play here, it would be to tease Iowa down to a -1, minus a half point, -1, depending on what you can get your teasers at.
Absolutely. My game 5 is Texas. I like them this year. I was high on before the season started. They had a bad day against Maryland early, but I set this line around 3.5. Oklahoma is 1-8 their last 9 neutral site games with 3.5 to 10-point favorites. That means even this game included, but also bowl games, anything like that. They're 1-4 their last 5 after a straight up win. And Texas is 7-2-1 their last 10 versus winning teams, and also 6-1 their last 7 as an underdog. I'm taking Texas plus the 8.
See, Texas plus the 8. See, I like that game, and I think that line's a little high. 7.5 points for Oklahoma. I'm not willing to give up. I had that game checked too, and I would like Oklahoma teased down to -1.5. You had a 6-point teaser. I think they win. I think it's close, maybe a 3 to 7-point game. I'm just a little iffy about the 7.5. My next game is going to be Uconn versus Memphis. Uconn came out hot last week. I think 35.5 points against Memphis is a little high. I think Uconn's a better team than what people think or what Vegas thinks. And so I'm taking Uconn plus 35.5.
I like it. That's a lot of points, like you said. And it's over that key number. They're 35. My sixth play today is going to be Indiana. I'm heading back to the Big Ten for my final Big Ten game here. Indiana plus 25. Ohio State coming off that big game against Penn State on the road. I know they got the win. They changed up their offense a little bit to accommodate for the fact that their quarterback wasn't doing so well, and it actually paid off for them. They still had a ton of yards, but it was a very emotional game that night. A 1-point victory. Ohio State is 2-5 their last 7 October games. This game last year was the opening night on Thursday night, and Indiana just got got beat pretty bad by Ohio State. I look at this as kind of a revenge game in a way. I think that Indiana's got something a little more to play for. Getting 25 points, I like it. There's not a lot to say here other than Indiana was 4-0 before that against Ohio State the previous 4 years leading up to last year, and I just like this number. I've got them closer to 18, so that's a full touchdown off, and I'm going to take Indiana plus 25.
So yeah, I thought about that game, just Ohio State with me. It scares me with those 25. Indiana could show up and play, but then again, Ohio State could come out and beat them like a drum. That game could go either way. It'd be too close to call for me. I'd have to stay away from that one. My last game here is going to be Georgia Tech versus Louisville. That line at Georgia Tech minus 4.5. I think it's pretty close. This game could go either way. Louisville, I forget who they played last week, but they played them pretty tight until the end. Or actually, did they end up winning that game? Who did they play
actually blew it last week, on the last minute or so against Florida State. They had the lead and threw interception deep, and for whatever reason, they were throwing the ball and gave up that win.
Georgia Tech and Louisville have been on the same page this year. Like I said, I think this game could go either way. I think Georgia Tech squeaks by. I'd either tease Georgia Tech to the plus side or Louisville. They're at plus 4.5. You can get them here at plus 11 if you had a 6.5 point teaser.
I got you. So you're thinking it's going to be extremely tight. It's going to be right there, a field goal maybe to win the thing or not.
Well, remember last week, if you remember, I had Ohio State and Penn State. Remember, I had a similar situation there where I thought Ohio State would be close. I teased it Ohio State to the plus side, and I teased Penn State to the plus more points. So, and that hit right in between. I think it was a 1-point game there. Yeah. So,
nice
those teasers that you can see those close games, and that I always feel they could go either way. They tend to work out well if they think they'll win, by 3 or less. I can tease them to the plus side and hit both there on that good middle.
Absolutely. My last play is a shot in the dark, throw a dart against the wall. Honestly, I just took it. It's a lot of points, and I think it may go my way. And that is UCLA plus 20. I think that, like we talked about a few weeks ago, UCLA, Chip Kelly, you don't want, he's going to be giving everything he's got here. I've got this game a little closer to 17, so not too far off the line that it is, but just enough to where I like it. Plus 20 UCLA is my final play.
You know how I feel about UCLA, man. They have been treating me bad these past couple of weeks. I'm like you. I was high up on Chip Kelly. They hadn't done too much this year. Last week was just brutal for me to watch.
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't get anything going. And, man, after Washington treated BYU last week, I don't know. UCLA could get beat by 20. I'd have to stay away from that one.
I got you.
I've lost faith on UCLA this year. They might win a couple games, but.
Yeah. Just want to say, everybody out there, thanks for watching. Please, follow us on Twitter at Thegoal60. Whether you fade, follow, or pass, good luck this week, and we will see you soon. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
60% of the time, it works every time.